New Orleans voters made history on December 11th by electing its first female sheriff, making her the first black woman ever to hold that post in the state. Here's BNC's Jamiese Price in her exclusive sit-down with the new sheriff, Susan Hutson.
Sheriff-elect Susan Hutson says it was George Floyd's death and the efforts to reform law enforcement that pushed her into this role. In this leadership position, she promises accountability, transparency, and systemic change.
What I did in this community for 11 years, I did for you.
Susan Hutson spent the last 11 years as the independent police monitor for the New Orleans Police Department. Now she's preparing for her new role as sheriff of Orleans Parish. Hutson's main responsibility as sheriff is overseeing the Orleans Parish Jail. Hutson says reform will start inside the walls of the jail with both inmates and deputies.
The jail is not safe. It's not a safe space. We've got to make it a safe space. We got to know why people act out. We have to use less violence from those who work there, de-escalate, treat people, and help people.
Hutson ran as a progressive with promises to end excessive use of force from officers.
There's the bigger picture, which is the culture change. You have a department that has been, for the last 8 years, not doing well. It was brought under federal control. They've been advised that they weren't constitutionally giving people care. They weren't constitutionally using force against those in jail. So we know that we have to change the way we did business as a whole. And so the culture change is a huge part of it, and empowering those who work there to understand why we need to do better.
She also wants to make sure inmates get the help and resources they need to cut down on inmates being released, then being sent back to jail.
We're not going to hold people in solitary confinement. That sensory deprivation is mentally and physically damaging to them. And then we're going to expect them to go back out on the street and be normal? They're not. And so everything that we're going to be doing is towards making people better. That's about my faith, but that's also about me as a taxpayer wanting my tax dollars to go to something better for people. We know that people will do better when they're given a shot, when they're given an opportunity. And so that's what we're going to do.
The newly elected sheriff is making history as the first black woman elected as sheriff in Louisiana. It's a responsibility not lost on Hutson.
And one pastor in particular, Pastor Mike Raymond, said to some little girls in the church, you know, this is the first black woman to be sheriff in the entire state. But she's opening this door for you. And so she won't be the last. That's when it really hit home. It really hit home. Because, you know, I was that little girl not too long ago and didn't dream of this type of a thing. So to open this door now for other generations to come through, it's hitting me. It's hitting me now.
Hutson comes into this role as the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office is under a federal consent decree that was put into place back in 2013. The sheriff-elect says she hopes to bring the department into compliance within months of taking office. At the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, I'm Jamiese Price for BNC.
My colleague Laverne McGee discussed the importance of Hutson's victory with our legal contributor Paul Henderson.
This is going to be so good and groundbreaking for both reforms and accountability in that city, and hopefully will lead the way. We're actually here together for a conference with NACOL, which is the National Organization for Civilian Oversight Agencies, talking about both her win and what her agenda is for the future. But this is substantive, and one of the things that we have to talk about and unpack is, as we've been talking about in the past, police reforms and accountability that expands into other areas of law enforcement, and sheriffs is a really crucial component of it. So addressing reforms that need to take place for folks that are incarcerated is a mandate that is equally as important as the police reforms that most people are familiar with that takes place in these cities as well. So I couldn't be more excited for her leadership. I couldn't be more excited about her vision and the things that she's planning to do in New Orleans that she's campaigned on, that obviously the city felt was time to enact and make the change that I think is really necessary, not just for New Orleans, but in some other areas of the country as well, specifically when we're talking about our jails and prisons.
Yeah, this is huge. And Paul, I know you are friends, as we said. So, you know, I know you might whisper in her ear a couple of pieces of advice. What do you think should be first on her agenda when she takes office?
Well, there's no need to guess as to what those agendas will be. She's talked about them. And yes, I have known her for a long time. She was the independent monitor for 10 years, and I've been doing oversight at my agency for 5 now. So we've talked about many of these issues. What she's indicated in some of the campaign trail that she ran on for her stage was one, addressing she's against the prison expansion. And so that was an idea that had been contemplated and talked about for a while. And she was absolutely opposed to it and wanted to take a firm stance, not just as a local level, but as part of mass incarceration to end the proliferation and the investment in prison and jail custody to try and find new solutions. The other thing that I think she's talked about is focusing on expanding, addressing, and building out gender conforming housing, which is best practices. It's sad that we're still talking about issues like this as a progressive agenda, but it seems to be overtaking where prisons and jails are headed. And I think it needs to be the majority, but we'll see a new model initiated in New Orleans. And then the other thing that I think that she's talked about that has been at the forefront of her priorities is addressing health care for inmates and changing the contract, the local contract that the prisons and jails have had in New Orleans.
She's got a tall order to fill, Paul. I mean, she certainly is going to be watched throughout the country, I would imagine, every step of the way.
And challenged. I think a lot of folks may not like this kind of change. But when we talk about improving this country specifically to address our disenfranchised folks, it doesn't get much more disenfranchised than folks who are incarcerated. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have to be accountable for what put them in those situations, but there is a humane element that has to be addressed in terms of what the expectations are for people that are incarcerated. And I think having representation at that table that looks like a Black woman is what I'm here for. I think we need to celebrate and have more folks from disenfranchised communities at the table, redefining a definition of public safety that I think is going to be better for this country. And certainly it's what the voters decided that they wanted in New Orleans, which I'm ultimately familiar with. You know, I went to law school at Tulane, so I know the city, I know Susan, I know her leadership. I'm excited about the potential of it, and I'm looking forward to the ongoing conversations to see what that looks like.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Please give her our regards, our congratulations, and you can come back with her as soon as she gets a chance. She's got a busy schedule with her new win. Thank you so much. As always, veteran prosecutor and BNC legal contributor Paul Henderson. Take care.